I have a confession to make. I am a serious monster fan. Shocking, right? Most of us probably consider ourselves fans of something. Music, sports, movies, books, and so on. Many people, myself included, count themselves fans of a number of things. We all come to our passions by various avenues and express our enthusiasm in different ways. But what exactly is a fan? Today, I will be tackling something a little different. In this video, you'll hear all about my personal story as a monster fanatic, and how that experience has influenced my view of fandom and of the world at large, and ultimately led to the creation of this channel. I'm Tyler Martin, and this is Monsters from the Id. To start, we'll have to go back several decades to my childhood in eastern Kentucky. Like every kid, I had my favorite cartoons, games, and so forth, and went through my share of phases, trains, dinosaurs, and, thanks to their pervasive popularity among my relatives and their acquaintances, country music and NASCAR. But at around the age of 5, one love came along which would forever alter the course of my life. One day at school, I overheard some friends talking about something called Godzilla. Curious, I wedged my way into the discussion. The exact details of the conversation are lost to time, but to this dinosaur-obsessed child, their description sure made it sound like something worth checking out. Soon after, on our regular trip to the video store, my dad asked what I wanted to check out this time, and my answer was immediate: a Godzilla movie. As luck would have it, the store's sci-fi section was crammed with tapes featuring what I would soon learn was the greatest monster of them all. From among the slew of titles, I chose Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. A few hours later, my world was changed. It was, without a doubt, the coolest thing I had ever seen, and I wanted more. Luckily, Summit Video was there to help, and my habit was well fed. To start, I gravitated strongly toward the films in which Godzilla was the good guy, coming out on top in the end. But even in movies where he served as the antagonist, I still rooted for him, and became upset when he was defeated, a tendency which thankfully faded as I grew a little older. As I absorbed the Godzilla series, I naturally became interested in other monster-related media as well, such as King Kong, Gamera, Pokemon, and many others, as well as the world of potentially real monsters as explored in the field of cryptozoology. My obsession with monsters in general, and Godzilla in particular, was not lost on my classmates. No one liked these movies or knew as much about them as I did. I was the Godzilla kid. For the first few years, it seemed harmless enough, but as adolescence approached, the perceived need to be normal, whatever that might mean, began to manifest, and more I was made by my peers to feel like an outcast, an object of mockery, because obviously I was the only person on the face of the earth who liked this stuff. For my part, I became bitter and defensive, and grew progressively more discouraged. My love for monsters wasn't hurting anyone, so what was the problem? Then came the internet, and with it, I quickly discovered legions of fellow Godzilla and monster lovers around the world. This was the late 90s, the heyday of fan sites and message boards, and it was here that I could finally count myself as one in a community of enthusiastic fans. But even though there was a lot to like about being part of an online fandom, there were drawbacks that weren't so easily detected at first. Like a newly converted cult follower, I eagerly embraced the massive talking points and predetermined beliefs that came with being a quote-unquote fan. I learned that there were camps who praised certain films and characters at the expense of others, and that there were certain movies that I, as a fan, was supposed to dislike. While I had generally enjoyed the whole lot up to this point, I eagerly hopped on the bandwagon because, hey, these were my people, right? All the while, in the real world, I had learned to think of my favorite movies as bad and cheesy, and put on a sort of show that I enjoyed them ironically in an attempt to seem more acceptable to my schoolmates. But as with the ostensibly like-minded people I associated with online, who often seemed to embrace such attitudes as well, I was not being true to myself. In any case, it didn't help much. But as my teenage years drew to a close, a veil was lifted, and the stigma surrounding this peculiar hobby vanished completely. As it turned out, functioning adults had no problem with a person being into something a little niche, and my prior insecurities quickly melted away. It was around this time, also, that the theatrical re-release of the original Godzilla, in conjunction with the film's 50th anniversary, had been met with acclaim, opening the door for more serious evaluation of the character and related films through things like books, magazine articles, and DVD commentaries. Thanks in large part to this renaissance, and my own burgeoning maturity, I finally began to fully appreciate just why these movies were so special. Created by filmmakers who had experienced the horrors of war firsthand, they represented both a warning against the human follies that lead society to destroy itself and an escape from an often bitter reality. Craftsmen toiling under a system that would not permit the kind of time and budget allotted to the highest profile American productions were obliged to get creative and make the most of what they had. The end product was an impressive subgenre of science fiction cinema with a distinctly Japanese flavor. All the while, my obsession with Godzilla and his monstrous brethren had led, directly or indirectly, to various other interests, which are too numerous to list here. I've connected with countless people, including actors and staff who have taken part in my most beloved movies, and was even compelled to start a YouTube channel as an outlet for this passion. Perhaps most significantly, this hobby sparked a fascination with the culture and history of Japan, which several years ago led to a major life decision. Relocating to a new country was a big risk, but I have found meaningful work, wonderful friends, and met the remarkable woman who is now my wife. All this because of a guy in a monster suit. All of that to say this. It is a very healthy, positive thing to find a hobby that stirs your enthusiasm and commune with people who share your love for the thing, whatever that might be, provided you do so responsibly and with due regard for others. Even if you find yourself an enthusiast of something on the niche side, the last thing you should do is apologize for it. That way lies darkness and self-doubt. As long as no harm is being done, whether to yourself or others, then embrace the thing. Love it for how you see it. Resist the urge to follow the crowd, even among your own fandom, and learn to appreciate the thing in your own way. We are all unique. Your experience and point of view are bound to mirror those of fellow fans in some ways and differ in others. What matters most is what the object of your devotion means to you. Seek that. Cherish it. And in the words of the poet, let your love flow. You never know where it might take you. Having spoken my piece, I now invite you to tell the world how you came to love the things you love, and share your own thoughts about what it means to be a fan. If you're a fan of this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more monsters from the id. Once again, thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.
One I remember, I think it's called Ankokugai no Kaoyaku.
So. No, with the Toshiro Mifune,
Yes.
Koji Tsuruta.
Yes.
Wow.
You sing this great little number in the Chiksho Jujiro Idari Kamika. Yeah.
I give you a $2 tip. No.